Hi, Facebook. Welcome to San Diego. That's behind me. San Diego. Stay classy, San Diego. Here we go. So now you can see me a little bit. Or the background at least. Ba-bam. So I was thinking recently, I hear a lot of, I was trying to fix my color, but oh well, there we go. Okay. I have a lot of, kind of like younger millennial type friends. And I kind of hang out around millennials from time to time, being the oldest millennial myself, in 1984. So I hear people talk a lot about, when is the right time to have kids? Or a lot of young couples these days are like, no, we're not going to have kids. We're going to wait to have kids for the right time to have kids. And, I just was talking to Larry about this a couple nights ago of just the experience of having a kid. I think we had Liberty relatively young, and we had Liberty around when I was 25, and so she kind of like snuck in before all like the career stuff happened. But as Larry and I are thinking about having more kids now, I have a lot of peers that are getting pregnant now, and I just got to thinking that a lot of what I have in my life I would not have had I not had Liberty. And so I just wanted to offer kind of a word of exhortation that if you are young and you want to have kids, or maybe one of you wants to have kids and the other spouse wants to wait, that I just wanted to go live and just kind of encourage you that I really believe the Lord releases, I'm going to call it provision, in the hour of need. And it's like any other gift that God gives us, like a spiritual gift, that the gift itself doesn't necessarily operate just routinely throughout the day. The gift operates when a demand is placed on it. So, like when Jesus is walking around and the woman with the issue of blood touches the hem of his garment, a demand was placed on the gift, and then the gift manifested. And so I feel like kids are much in the same, very similar to that when you have a child and you're pregnant with a child, that provision of that next level blessing, that God doesn't always release that unless there's a demand placed on it. So I know that was true for Larry and I, that I was working at a job at a bank, and I thought yeah, this is great, I loved doing it. I meet different people every single day, and it paid our bills and stuff. But on paper, it was how are we going to pay for this? How are we going to pay for a baby? And you think of all the expenses that come with a baby. And, Larry was working a different job at the time. And had I not gotten pregnant with her, I never would have kind of made this mental decision of I'd like to work from home. I want to stay home. I want to be with her. And so for 3 months while I had the maternity leave, I had the opportunity to really kind of think about what do I want to do. And I kind of tapped into different hobbies that I had. And one of them was, website design and graphic design. And so I got a job where I could work from home and do that. And that just cascaded into a number of opportunities where I ended up running a software company as an operations person. And that whole time I worked from home. I got to do that from home, and I got paid way more than what I was making at the bank. And I got to grow in my own gifts and skills that, people really mentored me at that time. But that wouldn't have been released had I not had Liberty. I never would have stepped into that path. And even with a child being born, I think about the impact that Liberty's had, that had I not been freed from, working that 9-to-5 job and taking a risk and stepping out and saying, oh, I want to work from home, I'm going to try to make it work. And then partnering with a very, gifted, creative CEO, entrepreneur, I was able to really help hone some of the products that he was thinking of and creating, and, take the wisdom and the different gift mixes that God's given me and just make those products even better. And so I think about the impact of wow, had I not had Liberty, I wouldn't have left my job and taken a risk. I wouldn't have been able to sow my gifts and my talents and abilities and creativity into another man's vision and business and made that grow. And then that business grew and grew, and we actually created software to help other people kind of stay at home and work and start local marketing companies and just help other businesses kind of get leads and generate new customers. And then out of that, there's so many countless testimonies from this other company I used to work at of just people like working 60 hours a week that said, oh my gosh, thank you so much for creating these products. Had you not created these products, like I wouldn't be able to be with my family now. Now I'm working 40 hours a week and I'm making $300,000 a year. I mean, just amazing like customer testimonials that we had out of that business. And I always sit back and I look at it and I said, had I not had liberty, this whole world of like what's possible and what that cascaded into for me, I wouldn't have had. And had liberty not been born, my abilities and the wisdom that God gives me wouldn't have been able to make these products even better, and maybe wouldn't have had the same impact in these thousands of lives and customer lives that had been touched, all because a little life and a little person was born. So when I hear young people who say this, because I was young. I mean, gosh, I couldn't afford to go to Ross and get a dress. Like when Larry and I got married, we didn't have any money. We lived in a 900 square foot apartment that we moved into. There's no dishwasher. And so a year in, I got pregnant and it's like, oh, is this the right time? Is this not the right time? How are we going to do it? But in my case, when I had her, the Lord used that experience to begin to release new opportunities and new provision that, of course, I had to work hard for. Right? Like I had to perform, I had to do my part and partner with that gift. But I just always hear people like, oh, it's the right time. Well, we got to wait till the right time. But I guess what I'm saying is until there's demand that's placed on the Lord to manifest and to show up and to deliver, sometimes I just don't know if that same level of abundance is going to flow. So if you're thinking about having babies or, getting pregnant or things like that, take this as a testimony, as a story of thanks to liberty, honestly, and getting pregnant. I get to have an amazing job right now where I'm in beautiful San Diego behind me and get to meet with all sorts of different people and literally get to help shift and change nations. And all of that comes because I got pregnant, and it's just cascaded from like a part-time job into operations manager of a software company to now, being a business partner in a media company and in a ministry. So it's just amazing, like what God's done in 10 years, and all because I got pregnant and had a little person. So let that be an exhortation and an encouragement to you today. And, feel free to tag somebody and share it. Somebody that's like, hey, should we get pregnant? Hey, should we have babies? Like, how is it going to happen? I don't know. I'm just saying, a whole world of possibility begins to open up. And it's kind of like pushing like a little bit of a reset button. But I especially think as women too, I got to go, but I especially think as women too, part of this testimony for me too, that I didn't really get to go into, is that I think that there's a lot of fear sometimes with women, because after investing in getting an education and maybe working in your field for a while, you're worried that what am I going to do? Like, I got this education, like how am I going to use my brain? What's going to happen? Not that, because you don't have a frame of reference. If you've never had a kid, then you just think like, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be at home all day. And there's plenty of women who stay at home and get to do really amazing creative things, but there's also women who really aspire to, like, I want to have a career and I want to grow, and I want to excel in what my different gift mixes are. And I just want to encourage you that all of that is still possible. You're not going to lose any of that. That will all be there. And in my case, I got to go deeper into those things, and I actually left a trading time for money job, and it opened up entrepreneurialism to me, and just a whole new world. And so I went deeper in my gift mix, and I just want to encourage you that I think that's all possible. And don't be worried that it's like you're not gonna grow. Sorry, I just got a call. That somehow you're gonna lose something. That I don't think God's gonna do that to you. And also don't underestimate how fulfilling being a mother is, because I didn't know that I was going to have the reaction that I did. I thought, like, I'm just going to want to go back to work. But the minute she came out, it was like something changed. It was even different when I had her in my belly versus when she came out and they put her right on top of my stomach. And, I was just, all I could say was like, my baby, this is my baby. And it's like this crazy amount of like emotional, probably like chemical bonding happens with you and that child as a mother. And all of a sudden I just knew I just want to be with you all the time. Like, that's just how I felt. I'm like, I want to be with you all the time. And I felt that way for a couple of months. Like, I mean, you could ask Claire. It's like I'd sit on the bed and just cry. I just want to be a stay-at-home mommy. And so we made that happen. And then, but like 2 or 3 months in, I realized, after you get through the first couple of months, which is rough, right? You kind of realize, like, you sleep all day. Like, what am I going to do? Like, you sleep all day. And so I kind of got into, like I said, different entrepreneurialism, different businesses, and my gifts just came alive. So God knew what he was doing, and I think he does know what he's doing when he, gives us children. And there's a Bible verse that Larry and I really clung to too, where it was like, it's like something like, I'm going to butcher it, I swear. Like, sometimes me with Bible verses, I don't know if you guys ever seen the show Drunk History. It's like drunk Bible study with me, because it's like, you should hear me tell stories to Liberty. But they're always entertaining. But it's something like, arrows, like arrows in the hand of a mighty warrior are children in one's youth. I think that's pretty darn close to what it is. But, it's so true. It's so true. And so, yeah, there's other parts to it too. Like, when I was pregnant with her, I just didn't know what to expect. I was really fearful, and I played this song on repeat. I'll post it later, but I think it was Martha Manuzzi, and it was this song of Your Ladder Will Be Greater, because I was so scared. I was the first one of my girlfriends to get pregnant, like at 25, and so nobody wanted to have kids. All these young people these days, like, well, we want to have kids. We were going to wait to have kids till we're 30. But I tell you, it's just, like I said, like, the Lord knew what he was doing. But I was so scared, and I just declared this song over my life of, like, that my ladder will be greater than my past. And I just literally played it on repeat, because there was just so much fear of what's going to happen to me. I don't know if I want to be home all the time. I don't know, what life is going to look like. And just a lot of fear and anxiety wrapped up in it. I just declared the song over my life. I'd play it at least 2 or 3 times a day. And then also, like, I think it was Israel Houghton's song of, it's a new season and it's a new day. It's a fresh anointing and it's coming my way. And so it's like, you got to, in these times of transition and uncertainty, you have to declare these things over your own life sometimes. And just saying that your ladder's going to be greater than your past, and that it's a new season. Anyway, so I just, maybe that ministers to you today. Maybe you're thinking about that. But the question was, when's the right time to have kids? And I think the Lord knows the right time when it's time to have kids. And I think it's important to trust him in that. And I did a real about face too. I was actually the friend that was like, I'm never going to have kids. Like, you can ask me, my girlfriend's from college. I'm like, I'm never going to have kids. And right before I got married, the Lord did like a real work in me of just changing all of that, like all of it. Like, I did a complete about face, and even Larry was like that. And so, like, it was kind of weird for him when I went through that whole transition right before we got married. I'm like, no, like, it's gonna be okay if we have kids, and I'm not gonna prevent trying to have kids. And so it took us a year to get pregnant, and then we got Liberty, and it was perfect timing. It was absolutely perfect timing. And like I said, if you're just jumping in now, but the whole beginning part of my broadcast is because I had Liberty, all the different cascading blessings that happened. And just it's like, what a legacy, even as a kid, just to have been born. It's like, she's helped, because of her being born, thousands of people have had ripple impact. So anyways, I would just encourage you to get pregnant and have babies and be fruitful and multiply, like the Lord says, and raise a child in the way that they should go. So trust God, trust that he knows what he's doing. Declare over your life that your ladder will be greater, your future is going to be greater, and then if you're in a new season, it's a new day. So anyways, that's my broadcast for today. Trying to do more. I had a dream the other night, and the Lord told me in my dream, I was like in a conversation, but it was like, you have to start talking more. You have to start speaking more. And I'm like, okay, because I just kind of keep to myself. I have all my thoughts. Larry hears them, and other people hear them, but you all don't get to hear them. So I'll share them with you more. I'm trying to be obedient. So if you like this, share it, give some hearts, tag somebody who is thinking about having kids, and let them be encouraged. And I'll post my song later too. So, all right, guys, thank you everybody for watching. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.